Today I'm with Steve Ashkin, the father of green cleaning and the founder of the Ashkin Group. Steve, welcome to the program.
Jeff, it is my pleasure to be here.
We're going to talk about an article you've written for ISSA Today magazine. It's called Redefining Cleaning for Health, and it's about 4 metrics for measuring cleaning performance. Steve, maybe you can just tee up your thoughts on why this is so important for our industry.
Well, first of all, again, Jeff, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I've been in the cleaning industry like you for quite a while. And, I remember when I was first formulating cleaning products, we used to use formaldehyde as a preservative. Okay, we didn't want mold to build up in our detergents and what have you. But later on, what we figured out was formaldehyde was carcinogenic. And so what the green cleaning movement, which I'm very proud of, has done is to eliminate some of the most toxic ingredients and simply replace them with safer alternatives. And we've done this all voluntarily. And of course, our goal wasn't to restrict what the cleaning industry did, but actually to encourage actually more cleaning, but we just wanted to use safer products. The challenge, of course, became, well, how did we know if manufacturers were actually doing what they said they were going to do? Because there were no laws that prevented them from just sort of saying they did something and then actually not doing it. So that's why, the development of all the third-party certification organizations like EPA Safer Choice Program and what have you have verified this, made purchasing the products easy. Now, the reason I'm starting like this, Jeff, is because when we start thinking about cleaning for health, and that's a concept that's been around for decades, and I think everyone in our industry agrees with the concept that we should clean to protect health. But the problem that we have is that there are no metrics. There are no ways to be able to measure whether or not we really are cleaning for health. So that's what we've been thinking about is, how do we make sure we move beyond cleaning for appearances? And that, we believe, has to do with measuring cleaning performance.
Good thought, Steve. If we're being honest here, as you mentioned, I've been around a while in the industry like you have. And I recall many, many years ago, it seemed like green cleaning just had a bad rap. It was misunderstood. People would say, well, you have to use this product. If you use this one product, you're a green cleaning person or a company. Times have changed. We're not hearing this anymore. We're seeing some good results from especially your efforts in the field. This article is interesting, and you mentioned measuring. 2 things caught my eye. Maybe you want to comment on these. Measuring for the performance of routine surface cleaning, and also measuring floors for slipperiness. How does that fit into green cleaning? Talk about that.
Well, let's really think about green cleaning as just finding safer products and approaches compared to how we've traditionally done stuff. So, green cleaning has really been a product focus, just like you mentioned. So now what we're trying to think about, because our real objective is to change our industry, is to make it safer for the building occupants, safer for our workers, safer for the environment. But the ultimate focus really has to be on protecting occupant health. So while green cleaning has a number of detractors and what have you, and we've made a lot of mistakes because we're still learning, but the bottom line is we need to really make sure when we're cleaning effectively and we're cleaning thoroughly. And in the year 2022, there's plenty of technologies available that can help us determine whether or not we're doing that. So whether you're using a green product or conventional product, are we cleaning effectively? Are we cleaning thoroughly? So the 2 issues that you mentioned, there are ATP devices. I suspect many people have heard about them. And they can actually measure whether or not we're thoroughly and effectively cleaning those surfaces. And what's also interesting about this technology is, with labor shortages and other challenges that we have, we can actually use this technology before we go into an area to test a surface to actually determine whether or not it actually needs cleaning. So not just on the end quality control end, but we can use it up front to determine whether or not it needs to be cleaned so that we can focus our limited resources on the surfaces and spaces that really make a difference when it comes to protecting occupant health. The other one that you mentioned is slip fall stuff. Every year the Consumer Product Safety Commission says about 2 million people are hurt in slips and falls, 2 million. And it actually turns out to be one of the largest causes of missed work days. So we have technology to measure the coefficient of friction, how slippery a floor is, and not just from the floor finish or the flooring material, but when we mop a floor, if we do a poor job rinsing the detergent off the floor, that detergent can make the floor slippery. So why aren't we using these technologies just to make sure that we're doing the job that our clients are paying us to do?
Thank you, Steve. Two others in your article: measuring when mop bucket water should be changed. That seems like that makes sense. Measuring that and proving scientifically it needs to be done. Also measuring concentrated disinfectants for proper dilution. Yeah, we've talked about that for many years. You should always measure your products and use them according to manufacturer's direction. Good points here as well for those who would like to read the article, which I'll have the link down below for that when it's published. But technology needs to be implemented into green cleaning. That's what you're talking about here.
Well, candidly, I think technology should be implemented in any kind of cleaning, regardless of the kind of products that people are using. And I get it that some facilities, they just want us to tidy up. They want us to just dump the trash. They want us to clean the fingerprints off the entryway glass. They want us to clean spots off the floors, and that's it. They're really not paying us to clean for health. They're paying us to clean for appearances and, again, to tidy up. So if for those customers, however, that want to clean for health, and we know in hospitals, they care about this stuff. In some manufacturing, like in pharmaceuticals or food processing, they care about these things. Back of house of restaurants and food preparation, food processors, they care. But in non-critical facilities, like in our schools or retail facilities, office buildings, in other places, we need to learn how to clean properly. And it's not that we don't know. It's not that we don't know how to do it, but to make sure we're measuring it properly, and also to be able to have those discussions with the facility managers, with our clients about performance-related stuff. And Jeff, if I can interject, and I think you'll like this, and I think your listeners will like this, at the end of the day, someone's going to have to pay for it. And let me be totally clear about who I think should do that. It should be the customer. This should not be an expense that's absorbed by our BSCs and cleaning staffs. These are things that should be written into contract requirements so that all suppliers have to do it, and that the facility pays for these technologies. Right? This should not come out of our pockets. But if we want to do this well, it is time for our customers to belly up to the bar, to pay the tab, and to make sure they are paying us to clean for health.
I'm sure many of our listeners will love those words, Steve, and maybe some who are customers might not, but you're right. It has to be paid for, and it's the part of doing business. It's a part of being responsible citizens in those buildings.
Yeah, one of the challenges that we face in our industry is there's always a contractor who's willing to say, yep, I can do that. And they'll do it cheaper, right?
Absolutely.
And this is another reason why we have to measure performance. Because when they say they can do it cheaper, if we can't measure their performance, all we're measuring is how cheap they're doing it for. So if we actually have the ability to measure cleaning performance, ultimately everybody wins. We know occupants' performance is impacted by the state of the indoor environment. We get that. So if we can truly create healthier indoor environments, making sure that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, making sure we can have real dialogue between our service teams and our customers so that we can continually improve what we're doing, focusing on the areas, the surfaces, and the people most affected by these issues, then we're going to get the best outcomes.
Great information, Steve. So I have to ask this final question. Okay, two-part question. What's next? And what resources do we have to get it done?
Great questions. Thank you for asking them. The next thing that we really have to do is find ways to actually operationalize these metrics for measuring cleaning performance. And one of the things that we've done is working with the U.S. Green Building Council is to develop a resource to help organizations implement the use of ATP meters to measure cleaning performance. And, developing this with the USGBC, we had to address questions like the cost, right? Because it can be very expensive, how to do it, where to do it, how to focus on high touch points, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the USGBC has a great new resource, and perhaps, Jeff, you can put that, on the presentation as well so people can find it. And the next step beyond that is to get companies to actually start doing it and using it as a tool to really demonstrate that they're cleaning for health. And then please, if you have any questions, and I'm talking to your audience, any questions or even thoughts about other technologies so we can truly measure cleaning performance, I hope you'll share it with me. And Jeff, I'm really anticipating ISSA, the work that you do, the work at CMI and other training programs to help develop good resources to help us be able to implement these kind of performance measures.
I will definitely be sharing this information with the appropriate people at ISSA, and we'll see what we can do, Steve.
You're awesome.